Hey y'all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where in the world you're watching this and at what time. Happy day. I'm still drinking coffee, still morning-ish time here. This one should be shorter and sweeter today. Don't have that many talking points. So I'm just dive right in. Player boards. People are asking, when do we get to see the finalized player boards? So the way our player board process works is we are still letting the data from playtests accumulate from the player boards versions that we have out now. Once we're happy with those, we've made all the tweaks we want to make to those. Then we kind of set those powers, right? We set those new powers, and then we flip those boards over and we adjust those powers for a 2-player game. And then we've got to test those a little bit as well. So, you know, people are like, when can I download? I want to download. You can download the beta versions of those now and have at it. But it's going to be after the campaign before we finalize those and we're locked for those. So you're just gonna have to be patient. They're not gonna be ready for weeks. So just pump the brakes. It's part of the process. Otherwise, if we do it too quickly and we don't let that data accumulate, then we find a problem and then we change it again, which then that defeats the purpose, right? So that's how that works. I am going to scan down some of the questions in the chat while we're just hanging out here, but it's interesting. There's some definitely interesting things going on with questions, and some folks, man, some of these questions, the way I really don't think some people think they're hostile. But let me just say, the way you word your questions matters to people, right? If you use harsh language, if you use an accusatory tone, if you make an accusation with your question, it is going to be perceived in a hostile manner. And maybe I'm teaching you a lesson for relationships in your life. I don't know. This is a lesson that I had to learn. I am a tell you what I think, straight shooter kind of person myself, but I've learned in my 40 years to dial that back, right? So when I have something that I want to say that's typically a statement, I've learned to turn that into a question and soften it as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, if I'm really truly seeking information, all I want is the answer, right? Now, if I'm out to just accuse people of things, that's different, right? So just be mindful of the way you ask for things or the way that you say things. It matters. Words matter. They matter. I know things over the last 4, 5, 6 years have gotten a lot harsher, at least here in the U.S. There's been influences that have made it, it's almost like it's a badge of honor to be harsh now. And, I just don't think it's not productive, right? It's not what's going to be best for us in our mental states. So without getting into other further conversations that aren't really necessary for a Kickstarter, which I am, obviously, if you follow me on socials, you know probably my background. I'm very vocal about social justice, equality, standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves, people that are oppressed by systems, all that good stuff. Let's dig into a few more questions. I know I've got a couple here that I want to scan through. I get this question a good bit. You know what? Can I do this? Yep, I can. And then I can scroll down. Where was that question at? It was right here. I get these sort of questions a lot. Why is the shipping, by the way, this particular backer really, everything you post is negative. Every question has a negative connotation. Nothing has made you happy in this campaign. And I'm sorry for that. But again, this is like when, as a creator, if I see your 14th question and all 14 of them have been negatively propositioned, I start to get worn down. Okay? Just being real straightforward. Anyway, let me answer your question. Why is the shipping to the UK 20, but Asia and the rest of Asia is 34 and 82? I presume the games is made in China. The games are made in China. But this is a common misunderstanding about shipping. Sometimes, like let's say you live in the United States, distance is the factor that changes it. So if I ship something across a couple of counties within my state, it's going to cost $12 or whatever. And if I ship it across the country to New York, it's going to cost $38, right? So distance does matter within the states because, and I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to bring my face back for this so you can see me. Because the rules within the United States are all the same, and the structure is all the same. Maybe not the rules, structure, whatever. It's all the same. You're talking about, in this question, 2 different countries in 2 different parts of the world. So those games have to go to different warehouses. They have different partners that ship them. They have different procedures. They have different country hurdles and structures and rules that apply. So they're different because everything about the delivery of that is different. And the costs are different. Shipping a game, just because the game's made in China and there are places that qualify as rest of Asia that are on the map, as we say in the States, as the crow flies, close, is irrelevant in this case to how much it costs to ship there. Japan is a great example. I can't find cheap shipping or affordable shipping to Japan. I don't really know, other than obviously it's an island, but I don't know what rules they have in place. I don't know what carriers go there. I don't know what's making those costs go way up, but they go up no matter who I've checked with. So it's just the way it is. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a logistics expert, right? I partner with logistics experts. They explain things to me, but I make board games. And logistics is an extension of my business. So, true, I do need to know, and I do know, I know a lot more about logistics than I ever wanted to. I do need to be adequately educated, and I am, right? I am. That doesn't mean I can't learn more. Doesn't mean I can't find better solutions, which I'm still looking for. I promise you. I am not settling on the current pricing that you have. I'm pushing my current partner. I'm checking with new partners. I'm interviewing them every week, in some cases every day. But it's a much larger conversation because it's not the same as going on the internet and saying, I want a keyboard. So I look at Amazon, I look at Target, I look at Walmart, and I choose the cheapest one, and that's what I pick. It doesn't work that way. There's so many moving parts when it comes to logistics that partners, like if I screw this up, it's on me. Or if a partner screws me over or they hide fees or whatever, you guys don't care. At the end of the day, if I told you it's going to be $20 to ship something and then I come back and I go, oh, they tricked me, or I didn't understand something, or there were fees I didn't understand, blah, 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 and it's actually $32, I need you to pay $12 more, you will not be happy with me. So it's why we have to be very careful about this. So excited to back this all in. Woo! Not going to miss out this time. Oh, thanks. Benedict's Games. That's David Bach. Will there be more add-ons or stretch goals? Richard, you are just going to have to follow along to find out. But yes, there will be. I would definitely add a playmat board if it were available, whether any of the asks are possible. Thank you for taking the time to look at them and address them. This is still one of my favorite games, and I can't wait for the expansion. Thanks, Adam. I am still exploring a one-off, a couple of different ways, but I'm mostly exploring a way I could add these playmats to my web store. I don't think, that we've got enough volume here in the campaign to make it an add-on. And I really honestly don't want to add that complexity to the fulfillment. Whereas if I can find a print on demand or a different solution from my web store, then I can offer it that way for the people who want those. Sorry to keep asking about this. So if I bought the premium chips, replacement boards, and new expansion, what kind of shipping charge would that look like? As per the video, they would all fit in the box for the chips and be real close to that cost, or would it be adding both? Or is it working out the Pledge Manager the best? So working out in the Pledge Manager is the best route, but what I tried to explain yesterday is so if you're asking about chips, replacement boards, and expansion. Those will ideally all go into one box. Whatever that box weighs and its size will be what determines how much it costs to be shipped to you. Now, what you can understand about that is the premium chips to your region have a base cost. So you know it's going to cost at least that much to ship it to you. Once we throw these other two things in, that price is going to go up. But if it doesn't make the box substantially bigger or heavier, and in this case, player boards and the new expansion shouldn't make it substantially heavier, right? It does increase my what we call pick and pack fees. So now there's 3 items going into a box instead of 1. So that increased the cost with my fulfillment partners. All those things are calculated, but I don't know what that percentage is going to be, but it shouldn't be substantial. So, if it says $28 to ship you chips, maybe it'll be $35 at the most. I'm not real sure. I'm just throwing numbers out, but that seems about like a number that would make sense, and it could be less than that. Obviously, it may not affect it very much at all. And again, because I'm not trying to make any money on shipping, I just want to get that to you as cheaply as possible. And here's why. Again, you need to see my face. Here's why. I don't want or need to make money on shipping. I just need it to be as affordable as possible so that more people buy my games. Okay? And if I'm able to find a way to keep the shipping as cheap as possible while obviously delivering them in a good way to you, in a quality way, so it doesn't come in damaged, because then that creates a different problem. I will earn your trust, and when I launch my next game, you'll be happy to come back. You see the inverse. You see the opposite of this happening with companies like CMON, who are charging very high prices. And again, I'm not trying to trash anybody, but I think the 180 they pulled on a couple campaigns ago, where they quoted one price, and then when they came to the shipping manager, it was a lot higher. That's the kind of stuff, without a good explanation, right? That's the kind of stuff that makes people very upset, and rightfully so. And that's why I try to be as transparent as I possibly can, in telling you why things cost what they cost, why we charge what we charge, why I did a P&L video and like really pulled back the curtain and showed you my strategy and philosophy on what we charge. But my goal is to keep shipping as cheap as possible while delivering you a game that's not damaged, so I don't have to ship you anything else. Because shipping you replacement parts destroys the profit margin of that game. Like, I pretty much just lose money. Lose money anytime I have to ship a replacement part. That's why I beseech everyone who can fix something on their own, or if something is and I do this myself, honestly. I've got games over here with dings on corners of the boxes. I never ask for a new box. If a meeple has a broken arm, I just put it in the back. That's the last meeple that I use, but I still use it because it still functions. I know it doesn't look pretty, but at the end of the day, the resale value of games should not be your main concern. But I get that that's subjective, and that varies for everybody. But my goal is to tell you the truth, tell you what things are. So you're educated and you know more about it. B, so that I can keep prices as low as possible, so that you want to come back to me for my more. That's how I stay in business, right? I have to make things that you want. I have to make things that have a good value. And some of you are in the comments arguing with me about value. And value is subjective, right? Your value proposition is different than other people's. But I'm trying to appeal to the widest breadth of people possible. Because at the end of the day, I just want you to play my games. As I've said before, if shipping was free or I didn't have to touch it or any of that, that'd be great. But it is up to me to get you the best deal possible, and that's what I'm trying to do. So that's why I've went to this route with the wait tables in the Pledge Manager, because then I get to wait to the last possible moment to see where the prices have either gone up or down, and we can get the most accurate information plugged into that system so that your prices hopefully stay as low as possible. If a pandemic hits and the logistics industry is turned on its head, then that can make things go up. At the end of the day, if I don't charge you that true price, let me be careful with my words here. because I'm not trying to throw any companies under the bus. If I don't have the money to cover the actual shipping charges, then I can't ship you your games and you don't get the game. Because, like in the case of Wonderland's War in the previous campaign where the prices went astronomically up, we didn't feel like we would earn your trust to come back to us if we came back and said, hey, listen, it's 6 times as much ocean freight as we predicted. We have a shortage of X amount. Divided that up amongst the backers is this much money per backer. We need you to pay this if you want your games. Now, there's a small percentage of you that would be like, we understand, here's your money. A larger percentage of people would be like, that's your problem, not mine. Obviously, I don't agree with those people because as a consumer, I would be in that percentage. Just like, I understand you didn't create a pandemic. This isn't your fault. It's just, this happens to all things. And if we want you to stay in business and if we want a product, we got to help you pay for it because that's the cost. So this is tough because people are going to be like, people will plant their flag on their heel on this and say, that's just, there'll be some people that say tough titty said the kitty. You've got to pay for it. That's the risk you took. There'll be people who say they're empathetic and say, hey, I totally understand. But at the end of the day, a small business, say like me now, right? I don't have the funds to absorb that sort of loss. So if you can't, what's the saying? You can't bleed, can't squeeze blood out of a turnip or something. I don't know what the saying is. But like if the money's not there to pay the bill, then the games sit in a warehouse somewhere until you have the money to pay the bill. That's it. And I think we've seen that in the industry over the last few years because this scenario has come up and potentially it's not done coming up, right? Because I think some places have moved money from one place to another to cover, hoping that they'll have success and the next thing to make up for that shortfall. And then if it doesn't happen, then it starts to spiral pretty quickly. So that's why I like to be completely transparent as much as I possibly can. Tell you what profit margins are used for, and why they're needed. If things go south to the tune that you don't have a profit margin anymore, that's a problem. And it's not just a problem for me or anybody as a business owner, like that's the risk you took. It is, but also it's a problem for you to get the thing that you paid for. So, okay, I ranted for a minute there, and obviously I've used up all my time. I'll do some more scrolling through questions tomorrow in the next video as well. But it's not easy, and there is definitely some truth in people who say, well, you're the one who started a business, you took on that risk. That is very true. Being a small business owner will leave you in the fetal position in the corner crying sometimes, for sure. But I do think we could all be a little bit more empathetic in the fact that there are some things out of small business owners' control that they don't have the power to affect. And there's some things that there are, right? I'm not saying it's not a carte blanche that they just get. If you're a small business owner, you get a free pass on everything. It's up to me to find the best partner that gets you the lowest prices on shipping, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. So anyway, all right, I'm done ranting now. I'm done pleading to you to have some empathy, but please have some empathy with creators. This stuff's hard. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, I could keep going. It's not easy. Thank you for listening. As always, I appreciate you. And I'm just excited for these last 10 days. We've got a lot of cool stuff we're still going to unveil. Yeah, just keep following along. Talk to you tomorrow. Next time. Bye.